Okay, so to briefly recap, we. God, I am suffering from the worst brain fog right now, so folks, please try to bear with me at least a little bit. But we ended up last episode with Shiana on the IKS Volk, which is a Klingon intelligence battle cruiser. The rest of the crew of the Dauntless back on the ship after some of the bridge officers spent some time on the Shroud for a looking for that ship's missing tactical officer, Talia, who it turns out is on the same ship Shiana is now on. Uh, Shiana, along with Bianca and Varek, the Shroud's captain, kind of hatched a plan to get Shiana on board that ship, just to kind of, I guess, provide an eye on things, see how Talia's doing, keep an eye on Talia, and on a personal level, for Shiana to maybe get her own hands dirty fighting some of the Zealand, which are now confirmed to have been engaging in slavery in the Carina Nebula cluster. In the meantime, Bianca found out, thanks to Q, that the Klingons are recruiting members of the Felothrix species for entry into the Klingon Defense Force, which has certainly not sat well with Bianca. Meanwhile, Felothrix refugees who were rescued from the Zealand have showed signs of withdrawal from a drug that, as far as the Dauntless crew can tell, bears some rather striking similarities to Ketracel White. And unless I am forgetting something, which is entirely possible, that's where we are right now.
Also, mysterious stinger is mysterious.
Yes, there was a mysterious scene featuring one major Shiana Darrow, ostensibly from the Mirror Universe, and Sloane, who, as far as anybody knows, has been dead for decades.
This is fine.
Okay, so there are two places we can pick this up. One would be with Shiana, the other would be on the Bridge of the Dauntless. Where would you all like to begin?
Has Shiana beamed over to the other ship already?
Yes, she has.
And we have no idea.
Correct. The only one on the Dauntless who knows is the ship's captain.
Right, because we were busy fellow.
Yep. Who, by the way, Sarah, when you have a moment, you may want to log into Roll20.
Oh, I'm going to raise my hand and say I'd like to start.
Okay. And Sarah, you may also need to reconnect, because if you said something just now, I couldn't hear you. Okay.
Yeah, it's not picking up your microphone.
Well, it wouldn't be Discord without technical difficulties, now would it? Try saying something now. Let's give her a moment.
Freaking Discord, man.
Right?
Alright, well, it's working better on my laptop mic than my AirPods at the moment for some reason.
Okay.
There you are! Woohoo!
We can hear you now, that's the good news.
Yeah. I think the connection's more stable on my MacBook than it is on my phone right now.
That wouldn't surprise me. Probably a lot of people using the Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Alright, so we will pick up in the transporter room of the Vok, where Shiana has beamed in and met two Klingons who quickly reacted by leveling their disruptor pistols at her. Now, I had a complication I was going to play at the end, toward the end of last week's episode, but didn't get to play it. I had mentioned to Kate and Sarah that Marissa's appearance was planned and not the complication. I am going to play the complication now. Shiana, one of the Klingons sees the Batleth in your hand. He says, "So, this human thinks she's a warrior." He puts his pistol away and draws a Diktag dagger. He says, "Let's find out how good you are."
Shanna raises her eyebrow. Okay.
Cue the original series battle music.
Basically, yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, give me just a
Shanna
moment here.
lifts her Batleth into ready position. Yes. She's looking very badass at the mo.
Yes, she is.
Oh, which we should let everyone see her new look.
Yes. So give me just a moment. That makes sense. Alrighty. Yeah, let's pull that up here real quick. And I'll let you all see it too.
Oh.
So Shiana's got a slightly shorter cut going on.
You know, just ready for more badassery.
All right. Give me just one more second here real quick. I want to make sure I have everything I need here. Well, he's a minor NPC. He doesn't get an avatar. Sorry, buddy. He is, however, going to come at you with the Mechleth. Or Diktag, sorry. Alright, so this is going to be an opposed roll. The base difficulty is 1. You're using your daring security.
Alright.
And you have a hand-to-hand combat focus, which will apply here. And did you take an extra die with momentum? Oh, no, that was from last week. Sorry. Okay, so one success versus his 0. Which means you win the opposed roll and get to roll damage.
Woohoo!
So you can just click on the icon beside the 3 down under your Batleth. All right. So what I have to ask here is, Shiana, are you if you want, you could easily kill him with this attack. Is that something that you are going to do, or are you going to spare him?
No, I think this is more of a make a point and maim.
Maim?
You know, I don't see the point right now in trying to kill somebody on this ship.
Okay. So what I will say happens here is, he kind of just like almost charges at you with his Diktag drawn, and things seem to go into slow motion for you. You catch his wrist with one of the points of the Batleth and use it to just pull him to the ground. Like you kind of using his momentum against him. the Batla digs in and tears a line across his forearm. The knife clatters uh, as it finds its way loose from his grasp. He goes tumbling to the ground, rolls onto his back, and looks up just as you bring the blade, the other pointed edge of the batleth right down next to his throat. And for a moment, you see the fear of death in his eyes. And then he sees that you're not going to strike the killing blow. And he grins, and he laughs and says, "Ha! Well fought, human. Perhaps you'll be a good addition to this crew after all."
I want nothing more. Take me to your captain.
You end up not having to go very far because the doors to the transporter room open. And standing in the doorway is Marissa, who kind of with a wave dismisses the two Klingon guards. And then it takes you a moment, Shienna, as Marissa's approaching you. There's no hostility in her stance at all. And in fact, you could be mistaken, but given the rumbling coming from her, you think she might be purring. And she pulls you into a tight hug and says, "Shienna, if I had known, I would have given you a warmer welcome than those two."
Marissa, it's been too long. It is good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. We need to talk somewhere. Follow me.
Shanna follows, and the whole that gut instinct of, okay, things are a little bit different than maybe I thought they were going to be when I beamed over into the ship. Okay, cool. Feeling.
Let's see. I'm going to have her make a roll here real quick. I'm going to say that to actually be control command. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, you weren't. I'm taking it you were not expecting to see her at all, much less under these circumstances. But
no, I mean the briefing from Valrak and was mostly about Talia and yeah, I mean the identity of this ship's captain was not part of that.
Right. So she leads you through the ship. It's fairly small compared to the Dauntless, of course. There are, I think, somewhere between 6 or 10 decks on the Vok. You don't get a whole lot of looks. Like there are glances, but folks are not unaccustomed to working with Starfleet, especially on the intelligence side of the house. So it's just kind of a cursory glance, and then they notice the captain's with you, and then they kind of carry on. You make your way to the captain's quarters, and Sarah, you okay?
What?
Oh, I don't know. I just heard a tapping.
Oh, sorry. That was me being tappy on my computer. Sorry, I didn't realize it was picking up.
No worries. She once the two of you get to her quarters, Shienna, she moves in like she's going to kiss you, but then stops. He says, It's not just the hair. You look different.
I am. As much as I might like to reconnect, Martha, I have a mate.
You do not need to sound apologetic to me. And she's actually smiling at this.
Well, we did have fun in our time, didn't we?
Yes, we did. And perhaps at some point your mate might be persuaded, but that's a conversation for another time.
You would have to meet her before you took that thought any further.
Fair enough. You know what our mission is.
Let's talk shop.
Yes. You do.
I'm-
I guess at the very least I should apologize. My last encounter with you on the Dauntless was not quite so friendly.
It was understandable given the circumstances. I did do my best to back you up in the investigation with Starfleet. Slavers shouldn't be tolerated, and that's why I'm here.
I appreciate that, and your enthusiasm. Talia is talented, but young. And I think she would be more willing to accept your mentorship than mine.
Have you and Talia had issues?
We have had some level of disagreement. It is her mission, however. And as she is aware, it is my ship.
And whose idea was it to leave a beacon with an Orion message?
That was hers. But I
It was
do
a little
like
bit
the
sloppy.
I don't disagree, but I do like the audacity of it. And I can't disagree with the sentiment.
Well, of course I agree with the sentiment, but if this mission is to be successful, covert.
If we are building a legend, then some word has to get out.
But only some. Where is Talia right now? Perhaps maybe we could get together, meet, brainstorm. I do need to introduce myself to her, and we do need to establish what the rest of what our next moves will be.
I agree. There is one further matter, however. Now that you're here, I want you to be my first officer.
Don't you have a first officer already?
Yes, but frankly, he's a patak. I would much rather have someone I can trust in the position.
So is this why you're sweet talking me?
No, I'm sweet talking you because I remember the fun times we had together.
And how would you like me to kick your first officer out of his current position?
You won't have to. I will let him know that for the time being he can move to engineering. You have to understand, this is an intelligence vessel. Ego has no part.
I would beg to differ, given the greeting that I received. That said, I will just keep my phaser and my batleth with me, if that's good with you.
That's a good idea on any Klingon vessel. Are you sure you wouldn't prefer a disruptor?
You know that I will always accept more weapons.
And she just grins at that. Then let's be on our way. All right. Back over to the bridge of the USS Dauntless. We're going to rewind time just a little bit so that we are shortly after Bianca had finished by saying play nice and Marissa said no promises. And then closed the channel. Now, as I recall, Dali had done a scan of the area, or was that perhaps Rai who had done the scan?
No, I had the Ketracel, like,
Sorry, say again?
I was looking for the stuff.
Okay.
Amounts or anything.
Okay, and there's certainly stuff to be found. I'm going to make... I don't believe we did a roll last time, so I would like to do a roll for this. So who is going to be conducting the scan?
Is it considered a medical scan?
I could justify it being either medical or science. Which means if you wanted to, you could do this, or otherwise, or I could do it.
I mean, since I started and I'm looking for the stuff, I would probably keep looking.
Then let's have you make the roll. Complication range is normal, so it's 1. It will be Reason Medicine. The Dauntless will assist with Sensors Medicine. And the Dauntless's advanced sensor suites give you -1 to the difficulty, so it's going to be a difficulty 1 roll.
Okay, I can roll for the ship if everyone's cool with that.
Yeah, that works.
Do I have a focus that applies?
Let me check your character sheet. Let's find out. Given the nature of the compound you're scanning for, I will let your genetics focus apply here.
Cool. That my ship is rolling.
Sorry, you broke up. Say that again.
Oh my god, Discord! Wow. You said it's a -1 difficulty, and the ship is also
Correct. So the difficulty is 1. And,
okay.
And Journey is rolling for the ship. There's 2. All right. You do find trace amounts of the substance that you believe has been given to the refugees. That basically the Ketracel light, if you will. It would take a coordinated transport operation to get a large enough sample to do any reasonable amount of study, but it is there.
Can I arrange to be a collection of the remnants?
Yeah, you probably just have to coordinate that with Dash.
I will do that.
Okay. All right, in that case, we will have him make this roll.
Can Coltess assist?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, do we have him on the bridge at this point?
I think he was on the bridge, but then he went with the Admiral to her command center.
Okay. Let's have him on the bridge at this point.
Okay.
So that way Tali is coordinating with him rather than with Dash.
Okay.
Oh, Captain, that the Admiral's on the ship.
Surprise,
That will come-
Admiral!
That will come in a moment.
Okay, so Koltesh, you're going to need to do a control engineering roll.
Okay.
Transporters, replicators, focus applies.
Do we have one moment?
Sure.
Can I grab a momentum for cautious engineering?
I don't see why not.
All right. What's my difficulty?
Your difficulty here is going to be 3 because while there are samples, they're very small compared to the wreckage that you're kind of trying to isolate them from.
Mm-hmm.
And they're rather scattered owing to the fact that the ship exploded. However, the ship will also assist. And let me see what the Dauntless will roll. Dauntless I will have roll computers engineering.
Okie dokie. Alright, I've got 3 dice, cautious. Okay, let's see how this goes.
There's 3. Who would
Should
like to
I
roll for Dauntless?
I can roll for Dauntless as well.
I don't hear anyone else stepping up, so sure, go ahead.
And that's sensors engineering.
No, computers engineering.
My bad, computers engineering.
No worries. Okay.
The ship does not like me today.
Likes you better than it liked me when I was rolling for Valkyrie. Okay, so with 3 successes, you are able to kind of basically do a multi-transport, where you're beaming objects in from multiple sections of the wreckage into what I'm presuming would be a containment field down in sickbay.
Yes, Koltesh would have done that.
Okay.
Into one of those floaty jars.
Exactly.
Centurion, your samples are in the med bay.
No.
You are welcome.
Captain, before I leave, you should be aware. Roll to shake. I have to back on the vessel.
Oh, that's good to know. I should probably go report in.
I informed her that you were on a captain.
On a what?
And she made herself a captaincy meeting or whatever. Like she was doing Starfleet business.
You're doing the business.
I don't remember exactly what I said. I said something what I said. But is
But what now?
And I said she's in.
Right, command center.
Yes, and then I will go study my car.
All right. I need someone to send a communique to Ambassador Worf down on Felithrix that I would like to speak to him in person. I will be headed to the command deck.
I can do that, Captain, Jonas says from his station.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Of course, Captain.
I will be right back.
All right. We're going to stay with Bianca here for a bit as she goes down to the command center.
Bianca walks into the command center and walks up to the Admiral and stands at attention. She goes, Captain West, reporting, Admiral.
Captain, it is agreeable to see you again.
Likewise. What can I do for you, Admiral?
Your medical officer informed me you were otherwise predisposed earlier.
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
I'm trying to remember what I was doing.
You were on the shroud.
Huh?
You were on the shroud. I don't know how much that helps.
Probably coordinating with Talia's mission, right?
Probably so, yes.
We're doing. You were being a sneaky spy.
Right. I was aboard the USS Shroud. I was helping Captain Santiago try to ascertain the potential location of one of his officers.
I see. I believe I have been briefed on the overall status of that mission, though not on its details. Is she in good condition?
As far as we are aware. Bianca's trying to suss out like how much Tashake actually knows.
Let's have you do...
Telepathically.
Telepathically? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have you do an insight command roll for this.
Okay.
And while Tashake is not actively resisting, the fact that she is Vulcan with the mental discipline that implies means that it will be contested.
Right. Well, and Bianca was very difficult for her to sense emotions off of Vulcans anyway when she was just empathic.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And this will be against her control command.
Would my composure focus apply?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Damn. Damn.
Okay. Tie goes to you. Unfortunately, despite getting 4 successes, you don't get any momentum off of the roll.
Right?
You actually have... It's still difficult to read Vulcans, and this Vulcan in particular, Bianca, but you're finding it easier than you're used to, and you're reminded of the interaction that you had with Q, where he asked about the development of your mental abilities. And you're wondering if maybe he wasn't onto something.
What do you mean? I don't remember.
He had said that your abilities were kind of evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was the implication there that the evolution had not finished.
Right. But what is Tashake's level of knowledge?
Tashake has been what we used to call in the Air Force briefed at the 50,000 foot level. So she's aware that there is a Starfleet intelligence mission ongoing. She's aware of the objective. She's not particularly aware of the details. Like, she doesn't...
Right.
She doesn't know the details of how Starfleet intelligence is disrupting Zealand slave trade in the sector.
Right.
But she knows that that is an objective and that Italia is involved with it.
But so in that case, Bianca's just gonna be a little bit more forthright. She's gonna be like, our operative is in place and so far doing well.
I see. Captain, what I must request next may not be to your liking. I understand you have close working relationships with the Klingon liaison on board your vessel, if not with the Romulan Republic liaison. However, to maximize the efficiency of the task forces in this sector, I will need to work closely with both of them.
Feel free.
Thank you, Captain.
I will instruct them to give you their full cooperation, of course.
Effectively, they will be, what is the Earth phrase, out of pocket for the Dauntless's operations. However, my role here is to support the Dauntless's operations. Therefore, if you have an overriding need, please inform me as soon as possible.
I will do so. If I may, Admiral, why are you here? If I may be so blunt.
She arches an eyebrow at the question. You are aware of the increased Klingon and Romulan presence in the sector, are you not?
Yes, been recently aware.
It is important to Starfleet that the three governments cooperate on a strategic level. Dauntless is still the sector flagship. However...
Yes, of course. But, if I may, Admiral, I would have expected to have been briefed on any increases of Allied forces in the sector, given that I am in command of that flagship. And I have not been. I frankly feel like I've been put in the dark. And now that you're on board, I feel like I'm being taken even more out of the loop.
The Admiral just kind of thinks on that for a moment.
I'm new at being a starship commander, Admiral. But I am captain of this vessel, and I am commander of this task force. I feel like I deserve to know these things. Not all of a sudden have more Klingon ships showing up out of nowhere, having an entire medical task force show up out of nowhere. And all of these are supposedly happening within my sphere of responsibility, but I have not been briefed on any of it. And that has me concerned, as you might imagine.
I concur with your concerns, Captain. Part of the reason...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh, part of the reason I am here is, in fact, to address those concerns. As I am stationed on board Dauntless, you and I will have a clear line of communication.
Of course. And how does the chain of command work? Exactly, in the Carina Nebula these days.
For operations specifically related to Dauntless and the Carina Nebula Task Force, You are in command. For operations that are interagency, you will report to me.
Understood. I just wanted to make sure I knew what was what in the neighborhood.
Indeed.
I can understand and sympathize that since the Herc conflict, Starfleet's probably all over the place. But it would be nice to know these things.
Captain.
I didn't even know you were coming until you were already on board. Kind of feels like you caught me with my britches down.
Captain, we perhaps have a conversation at a later time about your telepathic projection and the unpleasant image that just invoked.
I apologize. It's a new ability for me. It was only meant to be a metaphor, ma'am.
I see. If you are open to the suggestion, I may be able to help hone your mental disciplines. As you know, Vulcans are telepathic.
I am aware.
I leave the offer to you. Then, additionally...
It is appreciated.
Additionally, if I may be blunt, Captain, to say that Starfleet is, quote, all over the place, may in fact be an understatement. We were still recovering from the Iconian War when the Senkethi conflict broke out, and had no time to recover from that until the Herc conflict. The only positive to come from that is that the Dominion took the brunt of the Herc assault. Additionally, since communication appears to be a challenge out here, you should know that the Dominion is officially part of the Alpha Quadrant Alliance.
Is it now?
It is indeed.
Well, that's interesting. But Starfleet should know that Dauntless has a QEC. They can call me whenever they want.
I believe that situation will improve.
I sure hope so. I don't like surprises.
Nor do I, Captain. I suspect that with the Carina Nebula sector having been relatively quiet, Dauntless's signal was, if I may, lost in the weeds. However, given the recent tensions with the Zealand, that may no longer be the case much longer.
Agreed. I also should have you know, Admiral, I have open communications with Ambassador Worf of the Klingon Empire. I have reason to believe that he and his people are recruiting Felithrix into the KDF, which I was not aware of, and I'm sure that has not gone through the proper channels because I had not been briefed.
Again, Captain, the proper channels are, as you say, a bit of a mess. We will establish those. If you need the assistance of an admiral in getting Worf's attention, do let me know.
I'm just hoping that he still will respect a captain of a starship.
If you present yourself as well as the captains he has served with previously, I have no doubt.
Well, I do my damnedest.
Will there be anything else, Captain?
No, ma'am. I just wanted to make sure that I reported to you.
From now on, in order to strengthen the line of communication, I suggest we conduct daily briefings on the state of the sector.
Agreed. Is 0700 work?
That is an efficient time, yes. One more thing, Captain.
Of course.
I've received personnel orders regarding your first officer.
I don't have a first officer at the moment.
Indeed. And with that, she hands you a data pad, and the order is... The name on the order is left blank. Starfleet appears to feel that the best course of action in this situation, Captain, is to let you choose your first officer from among your crew.
Bianca nods slowly.
Although if you have a suggestion for Starfleet personnel stationed elsewhere, I can help to facilitate that matter.
I will make a decision shortly. I've got some loose ends to wrap up before I think I can make that decision.
Very well, Captain. Dismissed.
Admiral. And Bianca she kind of turns on her heel and leaves, and she goes back up to the bridge.
Okay. Before I switch to the next scene, Sarah, I would like to ask you if you would feel up to role-playing as Talia for this upcoming scene.
I can do that, yeah.
Okay. Because...
You just give me access to her character sheet.
I can do that if I haven't already. Stand by. So many characters. Here we go. Shroud Crew. Done.
Okay.
All right. We will switch back over now to the bridge of the IKS Vok. Because it is as small as it is, it doesn't really have a ready room per se. Instead, Shienna, you find yourself on the bridge with Marissa and with Talia, a couple of other officers in the area. Upon reaching the bridge, Marissa had a short conversation with one of the Klingons on the deck. And the Klingon kind of looked toward you, raised an eyebrow at her, looked towards you again, and as he left the bridge, he approaches you and says, "Take care of the captain. If any harm comes to her, it will be on your head."
Shiana just gives a withering look of, how dare you doubt my competence in this matter?
With just a grunt, he carries on out of the off the bridge. Marissa says, without further ado, this is... I am bad at names. Hang on. Because I'm sure yeah. This is Talia Erenis, formerly of the USS Shroud. Talia, meet Lieutenant Commander Shienna Darrow of the USS Dauntless.
Bianca's told me about you.
She's told me about you.
I'm sure she has. There's lots of stories to tell.
As I have explained to Shiana, the mission is yours. The ship is mine. With that being said, Lieutenant, how would you like to proceed?
What intel have we gathered so far?
Shiana, I'm assuming you would have brought over the intelligence you received from Zazaret.
Yes.
So you've got that. You've got...
Yes, I've got that. So I've got shipping routes. Plus some other goodies from Dauntless.
And Talia, that's when you recognize the batleth that is in Shiana's hand. Or, well, on her back by this point.
What do you mean by recognize?
Oh, she took her from Talia's quarters because she was still in the shroud. She didn't
Oh,
have a
that's
chance
right,
to go
that's
back
right,
to
that's right.
Dauntless.
And she kind of like narrows her eyes and she goes, "Is that my bat life?"
Well, yes. I had to borrow it. I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance to go retrieve my own.
Captain Santiago is going to owe me a batleth if you break it.
As if I would break it.
As if we don't have more in the armory, you two.
Well, a
That
batleth
one
is a
is
personal
special.
thing, Marissa.
Point taken.
That one goes back to the Klingon War when I was serving aboard Legacy.
I think I'd like to hear that story.
Another
But
time.
not at the moment. Right now, if I may be blunt, it seems that you two are operating at odds. What can I do to smooth things over?
I think my style is a little bombastic for the Farasan over here.
Certainly, you've left an impressive trail.
The trail itself is part of the point. After all, the Copper Corsair has to be a legend. Marissa says with a gleam in her eye. And you can't be a legend if no one knows what you've done.
Then what seems to be the issue? Captain.
I have suggested stepping up our attacks. The Vok is only one ship, but the Copper Corsair should be in several places, preferably at once.
There's already a lot of fingers in the pies, I think humans say.
What a ridiculous place to put a finger.
It's an expression. Bianca
Oh, you
uses
mean
it.
cooks in the kitchen? Who else do we have access to?
We have an actual Orion Marauder, And we have a Starfleet intelligence vessel equipped with hollow emitters similar to ours. You might be familiar with it, Shiana.
Wait, which ship is that? Sorry, out of character.
The Shroud.
Oh, at which Shiana raises her eyebrow, raises an eyebrow. Oh, really?
Oh, don't blame Varak. You didn't need to know.
Well, I know now, don't I?
Yes, because as my first officer, you need to know.
I assume he didn't tell Bianca, did he?
I don't believe he did, but then again, I don't know every conversation they've had.
Oh, she's gonna be pissed.
Well, I'm a little mad about spending a little too much time investigating a disappearance that wasn't a disappearance. You covered your tracks well.
You still found me.
I still
As
found
you were going to, because I wanted someone to.
You did just enough. But if we
Well,
do have access to 3 ships, I do
I
believe
do agree
that
we need to start stepping
building...
up our attacks.
No, but the building of a legend, you're right. If all 3 ships could appear to be the same ship and attack in different places at the same time.
Not at the same time. Because then people start getting suspicious. No, they have to be in rapid succession. To give the illusion that we have better range and better speed than we actually do.
I like it. Any ideas on where we should hit next?
Talia is going to pull up a map of the sector with the shipping routes that they've gathered.
And as they begin that discussion, we are going to cut scenes again. And this time to the Dauntless' sick bay. Alrighty, Dudley, where you at? Actually, scratch that for a moment. I will be right back.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back, but I take it that Steph is still not. Hello?
Don't think so.
Okay. Oh, maybe
guess not.
they're back.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
Oh, no worries. I had to do a little GM's room break, so it worked out pretty fortuitously.
Well, what did I miss?
Yeah. So there was a scene with Talia, Marissa, and Shienna, who have begun planning more attacks against Zealand ships. And then we swapped over to sickbay, but you hadn't missed anything because we waited for you.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I hope you weren't waiting too.
No, one bad.
Okay. So I'm doing studies of the Ketracel.
Yes,
I should. I know that Dauntless wouldn't name it, but Catracel because
because it's a horrible pun.
yes.
That's like the kind of pun you have to like do the finger guns afterward.
I did them at my screen, so you know it was good.
That's how we roll here, folks. All right. So, this is going to be 3 successive rolls, as opposed to like how we normally do extended tasks. The difficulty on each one is going to be 2. And the Dauntless will assist with computers medicine, and it's going to be reason medicine for Dali.
All right, and I have a focus with genetics.
Correct.
I'm sorry, what was the ship rolling?
Ship is rolling computers medicine.
And you said difficulty 2. Does it go down because I'm in my med bay?
No, the Dauntless assists because you're in your med bay.
Right. Okay. Okay. Reason medicine.
Okay, there's 2, and Dauntless gives you all a momentum. Okay, so from what you can tell, there are 3 active proteins within this substance. One of them bonds to the dopamine receptors in the brain and the epinephrine cells in the adrenal glands. What this does, it stimulates a euphoric state in the patient and allows them to call on increased strength and reflexes. When you are ready, go ahead and make your next roll.
Okay.
Holy Moses. Okay, given the successes on that roll, I'm not gonna do the third roll.
Okay.
Also, your momentum is maxed.
Yay!
There are 2 other proteins in this substance. One bonds to the areas of the brain responsible for cognitive functioning, making cognition more difficult and making the patient more susceptible to suggestion. There is a third protein that bonds to the patient's RNA, and over long periods of time, renders them unable to produce their own dopamine. So that they become completely dependent on this substance in order to function.
And so that they can't refuse orders.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's odd about this is there is enough of a dissimilarity with Ketracel White. Looking at the substance, like looking at its genetic structure, it looks like it's the metabolic product of something else. Like whatever substance this stuff comes from actually goes through the metabolization process. It's actually digested by some other creature, and then after that it becomes this substance.
Okay, so kind of like honey.
Kind of like honey.
I was trying to think of a less gross metaphor than something other than honey. Because there's a couple of things out there. Okay. Is it possible to synthesize it?
Given the amount of the sample that you have and the knowledge that you have of the genetic structure, you could now synthesize the substance itself.
All right, I will. I'm gonna start on that and see if there's a way to remove the compliance, like quote unquote module of it.
Mm-hmm. The proteins themselves don't seem to be entirely interwoven, if that makes sense. Like, you might actually be able to remove one of the proteins from this catracel.
Wow.
Okay. And if I can make it so that eventually they can be weaned off of it, like also getting rid of the RNA interference.
You would the thing with that is you would have to do more than undo. Like, you wouldn't simply be able to remove that particular protein. It would need to be rewired to actually help patients produce dopamine.
Okay, how would I go about doing that?
Perhaps an extended task further on in the episode.
Okay, well, by at least the sort of compliance section of it,
Mm-hmm.
and start on that.
Okay.
Do we have my alcove still?
Would you all have kept that or gotten rid of it?
I mean, I think it's one of those things where, like, what Dolly is so experimental that I don't think Bianca would be like, oh yeah, let's just tear it down.
Okay. Then
I think Bianca would be like, okay, let's leave it there just in case she still needs it.
Then I would say you all
For a
still
while.
have it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to the cargo bay and I'm gonna contact Jonas on my way.
Okay.
Lieutenant Jonas here.
Lieutenant, could you meet me in cargo bay 3?
Of course. I'll be right there.
I require your engineering expertise.
It's not going to blow up, is it?
Doubtful.
That was a joke.
Well, you will be relieved to know that it is unlikely to.
I'll be right down.
Commander Rye will wink at Jonas as he exits the bridge.
All right, so we move down to cargo bay 3.
Jonas will walk in and look around to see if he spots Dolly.
Yeah, she's over in the corner by the, like, old alcove, like, starting to take, because I assume it's been at least powered off for the moment.
She's basically doing a level 4 diagnostic.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So begin a synthesis process for the or the not so Felithrix ancestral refugees.
That was a mouthful, but I see where you're going.
And there is a section of the strand of genetic code that breaks down the within the assumes the product and causes them to become entirely dependent on whatever this faux Ketracel white is.
All right.
I was thinking that with some adaptability, we could remove it and replace it with something that will cause it to rebind to the dopamine levels so that the person no longer is dependent on the
That's quite the endeavor. What can I do to help?
Drones tend not to eat. They are fed well regenerated through a compound of molecular and protein-rich substance. I don't know if this alcove has the entire necessary hardware, but I was thinking perhaps I could adapt something.
Oh, all right. What parts were you thinking you could use?
And I will just point to like the section that I'm kind of like, you know, the head at the top, like the glowy bit is.
I have no. I'm so sorry. I have no idea what you said. You broke up really.
Oh, you know, at the top of the alcove where like the glowy bit is.
Yes.
Yeah, I like gesture kind of around there.
I'm going to assume it's more complicated than just handing you that glowy bit on top.
That would be the path. It is. It requires a decent instruction.
All right.
Normally, it would be done through tubules, but seeing as these creatures do not have such a thing.
Not everyone's gonna have feeding tubules. It's the way of the universe. All right. Jonas is gonna look around for a technician's kit so he can have something to help him take this all apart.
There would probably be laying nearby that's like open and like everything is really neatly stacked in like the exact way that it would be opened when you like open.
Okay. Okay, what do I roll to start dismantling this thing?
I'm actually not going to make this a roll.
Okay.
Between the two of you, it's not going to take a whole lot of time to deconstruct this thing, and it sounded like you're going to put it up in sickbay. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
It's just that it's a two-person job, not that it's exceptionally complicated.
Yeah.
At least not
Jonas
by 2410 it isn't.
And Jonas is way more got the engineering expertise, whereas Dahli is like, I know what goes where to make it. I would just rip it out.
Yeah. No, if it were like, it's the difference between knowing how to take it apart and taking it apart so thoroughly that it will never be put back together. like those printers you've heard about.
Mm-hmm.
that like the printer company gets a service call, and by the time they respond, like all the smart geeks in the office have taken the printer apart down to every last nut and bolt.
Oh God.
And well, that's. I'm going to see if there's any. It's highly unlikely, but if there's any dormant nanoprobes anywhere in any of the machinery.
Okay, I will have we'll have you do a roll for that. It's going to be reason science.
Can I assist with engineering or something?
Yeah, we'll say you're assisting with engineering in terms of like as you're taking this thing apart, Dahli is scanning each part of it in turn.
Okay, what would my attribute be?
So it's going to be reason for you as well.
Okay.
Xenobiology genetics?
Not here, no. Because
why did I get rid of my nanotechnology?
Because you kind of used to be Borg, so it's not really Xeno at that point.
Hey.
Would any of my focuses apply here?
Not here.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right. You guys still made the difficulty.
You tried.
So, scan as you go through scanning each component of this I lost the word, alcove. You go through it kind of methodically, but you don't detect any traces of Borg nanoprobes in the system.
And lucky, I suppose. Oh well.
I never thought I'd be pulling apart a Borg alcove to use it for medical purposes.
You just get like a kind of like a cheeky grin. Adaptation.
Adaptation.
Okay. We're going to cut up to the bridge briefly. Shoot. Hang on a sec. Because to get us straight to the bridge, I'm going to have to actually move this. And then move that like so. Cool.
Don't you love being having the power to move across the hundreds of maps you make?
I'm only at a couple of dozen, but still, like, there's got to be a better way.
There really should be. I'm making a one-shot for my Australian friends tomorrow for D&D, and it's ridiculous. I have like 20 maps, and I needed to make a new like one-shot map for them, and I broke it into 2 pieces, and I'm just like, this is so ridiculous to have to move all of this.
Yep. You ain't wrong. All right, so we're back on the bridge, and I'm going to spend 2 threat.
Fun.
Quick question: Is my guy still on the bridge?
Koltesh?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, unless you could think of a reason why he wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's kind of his station at this point, honestly.
Okay.
Well, Sorta, kinda. I mean, he's kind of dual-hatted if you look at him, because he's strong in engineering, but he's also pretty good in security. And now that Sisram is out of pocket, you're probably going to need someone there.
Yeah, I saw that security score. That's the highest security score aside from my Romulan, who accidentally blows things up.
I mean, in your Romulan's defense, it was just a bird of prey or 3. And they were going against a Sovereign-class starship. I don't know what they expected.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot draw the power back on those. If you're shooting, it's going to blow something up.
Mm-hmm. All right, but that being said, the focus of this scene is actually on Rai, who is kind of just doing the normal science stuff at the workstation. Survey, scans of the sector, that sort of thing. A junior science officer, looks like a crewman, stops by with a pad, just kind of nods a hello.
Crewman?
And then he just hands you the pad wordlessly.
Okay, I look at the pad.
The crewman departs the bridge. As you look at the pad, you see. Actually, let me have you give me an insight science check. Difficulty here is going to be 3.
Come on here. Let's get to my sheet.
Your way
Take
of the
momentum
Dara.
if you need it.
Your way of the Dara talent does apply here.
Gotcha. So, hold on here. What does Way of the Dara do? I think I get a free dice on.
I think so.
Let's see here. I got my sheet, but I got it all listed out here. That's right, I got a printer now. I can just like print this thing, couldn't I? Search. Oh,
it reduces the difficulty by 1. So I had said the difficulty was 3. It's now 2.
Gotcha. All right. Insight and science.
Yes.
Insight science. Does any of my focuses apply?
Yeah, I'll give you Romulan Star Empire history on this one.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm rolling 2 dice. Different complication. Yeah, we'll go with it.
Okay.
Let's go. Big money.
2 successes, which is what you needed.
Cool.
So you notice 2 things. First of all, the datapad is encrypted, but it's using an old Tal Shiar encryption algorithm.
Gotcha.
The second thing is you notice
So my data pad that I was given is encrypted so that nobody else can read it.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
At least in theory. Cool. There's probably one other person on the ship who could read it.
Well, yeah, okay. Maybe the guy who wrote it?
Yeah, give or take. You also notice it seems a bit malshapen. Like the pad does? The pad looks like it's been tampered with.
I will pop open the back to see what's been tampered with. Actually, no, before I even do that, I'm going to take my tricorder and the pad.
Okay. Are you scanning for anything in particular, or just anything out of the ordinary?
Anything out of the ordinary, I'm checking to make sure it isn't trapped, because I'm a paranoid motherfucker.
Makes sense. It's your scan reveals that it's not trapped, but there is a tracking device contained within the pad.
Gotcha. All right. I'm expecting it to be my Viridian patch.
It is exactly your Viridian patch.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going to pocket that, because I'm going to do something fun with that here in a minute. Okay, so then I will, I'm going to get through the basic, actually, I will excuse myself from the bridge.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a crew ready to take over my position.
Yep.
I will then, as we go down, I'll take the turbo lift to what would be to one of the science stations. But while I'm in the turbo lift, hopefully alone, I will decrypt this.
I'm actually going to spend 2 more threat here.
Gotcha.
As you are departing the bridge for the turbolift doors open and Bianca steps out.
Okay, Captain.
Commander?
I will step out of the captain's way.
And Bianca is just going to go to her chair and check and see if she's gotten a response from Worf.
And I will get in the turbo lift. No need to make it awkward.
Okay. Heading into the turbo lift, you're alone in the turbo lift. Is that where you were planning to start your encryption, or were you going to finish your way down to the lab?
Well, I'm really just going somewhere. I'm going to assume, since it's basic, my hope is I can just do it in my head. At least read it.
You are intimately familiar with the encryption algorithm. It would take you probably 30 seconds or less to decrypt it.
Yeah, so I'm literally gonna do it as I walk.
Yeah, like in fact, this is one of the keys that the Tal Shiar had agents memorize. It's that basic.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
The gist of the contents of the pad is that the message reads, looking for Zealand genetic samples. Please assist as able. And it's signed with the initial S.
Is that this Anesh? Is that the 31 guy I was working?
Sloan? That probably a good chance. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. All right, then. What I'm going to do though is head to my quarters, and I am, and assuming I have access to this kind of device, I'm going to put the Viridian patch in some sort of sealed container that it won't, I'm going to put it shielding so it's not being tracked. Okay. And just save it for later.
Let's do a control security roll for this. Because you don't have ready access to something like this in your quarters, but you probably could MacGyver something.
All right, yeah, I'll totally MacGyver that.
And I'll set the difficulty here at 2.
All right, I'm going to spend a point of momentum.
Okay.
Yeah, can my specialization in focus and sensor operations apply? Because simply I know how to scan for this, so I know how to avoid it.
I'll give you that, yeah.
Cool. Focus use, all right. Do that.
2 successes.
There we go. Success.
Okay, so it's not pretty, but it is a containment device.
Yeah, so
it's like a 25th century mason jar for all intents and purposes, but it'll get the job done.
What I think would be more fun, if you're willing to let me, is that I place it I put it in, so I take off the shower head because we get sonic showers, and I put it in next to the sonic generator, knowing that that this is made out of a certain copper filament that will make it difficult to detect. Whatever bullshit, but that's more spy-y than a mason jar.
Fair enough. Yes, that's
great.
That's cool. That's actually okay. Yeah.
All right, and then with that, so 31's asked me to try to get data on this, genetics data on these people. Okay, sounds good. I will then report to the lab, ask about anything that, since I'm the chief science officer, I'm going to ask about, I'm essentially continuing my cover.
Right.
So I'm like, do you still have the reports of that thing? Oh, thank you. Good. And then I'll go back.
Okay. So we will cut back to the bridge, which on screen we never really left. And Bianca, you do have a response and an invitation to the Klingon embassy on Felithrix.
And Bianca's just going to accept the invitation.
Yeah. Which, for what it's worth, is co-located with Federation and Romulan embassies, so...
Right. Captain West to Lieutenant Carden.
Lieutenant Carden here.
Are you available, Lieutenant?
Would they have finished by now?
I would say yes. Because, again, not too complicated, just, you know, it was a two-person job. For narrative purposes, it suits to say that you guys have probably wrapped up by this point.
I am Captain. I've just finished helping Dali with something. What can I do for you?
Good. I'd like to take you with me. I have a meeting with the Klingon ambassador on Felithrix.
Of course. Do I need to put on my dress uniform?
No need.
Alright.
But if you have biker leathers, those would be perfect. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, he's got a pair of leather pants for special occasion.
Oh my.
Quick question. For away missions, is it standard to take weapons?
Phaser Type 2 and a personal shield generator would be standard issue.
Okay, I just needed to know because we're going to see an ambassador, but it's Klingon, but they are Klingon, and if anything's taught us, you always prepare yourself for Klingons.
I mean, captain's orders aside.
I will meet you at the transporter, Captain.
All right, West out. And she'll wait for Jonas to get to the transporter, and then she'll get onto the transporter pad.
Okay. Without further ado,
I need to roll a quick composure check. What are those?
Let's do Control Command. What do you feel like the difficulty should be here? Because otherwise I'm just going to set it at 1.
1 is good. He's been working on this and been using the transporters lately, but that nervousness and anxiety is still a huge part of him.
Okay. I'm going to spend a threat to raise your complication range to 2.
Ooh, okay. I don't think any of my focuses would apply here.
Correct. Two successes. Nicely done.
Sweet. I guess it was a good thing I've been raising my command.
Yeah, no doubt.
So Jonas manages to hold it together as they dematerialize and rematerialize.
Oh.
That was I'm not sure who said that, but that was perfectly cut off.
It was me.
Okay. Like, oh. You arrive and are not kept waiting. I want to say Chamberlain, but that's probably not the right word. But there's a Klingon guard dressed in more ceremonial armor than functional, but, I mean, even Klingon ceremonial armor has a very functional nature to it. And he leads you into the ambassador's office, and Ambassador Worf stands to greet the two of you as you walk in.
Ambassador, I am pleased that you agreed to meet with me.
Of course, Captain. What is on your mind?
And I just wanted to clarify real quick out of character, like, have the Federation and Felithrix, like, actually signed an agreement that the Felithrix are in the Federation now?
They have not at present signed an agreement. They are very far in the negotiation process, thanks in no small part to a certain Loaxana Troy.
Right.
They're basically crossing T's and dotting I's at this point.
Right.
Like it's kind of a foregone conclusion. Felothrix is going to join the Federation.
Okay. All right. Bianca's just going to she's gonna kind of do a quick read on Worf as far as like kind of get a feel for him.
Okay. I'll give you a presence command check. Difficulty's 1. This is not going to be opposed.
Okay.
Okay, 2 successes. And a growl-like snore coming from a cushion behind the ambassador's desk.
A Targ.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas's face brightens up. He loves pets.
Puppy!
Basically.
The Targ is not holographic.
Oh, but what does Bianca get as far as impressions on Worf?
Right. So, there is a default level of respect that Worf does kind of carry for Federation starship captains. He's worked with Jean-Luc Picard, of course, Benjamin Sisko. More recently, he's worked with Captain Vakal Shan of the Enterprise NCC 1701F. So the fact that you command the Federation flagship also gives you you also command a certain amount of respect just from your position.
And so with that, Bianca's going to sit down and she's going to be like, it's an honor to meet you, Ambassador. Your record is extensive and impressive.
Thank you, Captain.
I have been made aware that the Klingon Defense Force has been recruiting from the Felothrix population.
We have been discussing Klingon culture with members of the Felothrix. Some have chosen to express their interest to join the Klingons and understand the way of the warrior more thoroughly.
Bianca kind of nods respectfully and she says, well, this is a bit of a gray area because we're currently, if you'll pardon the archaic expression, inking up a deal to bring the Felothrix into the Federation, which I'm sure you're aware is a lengthy process.
As with everything else where the Federation is concerned, and Worf kind of smirks at that.
Don't disagree there. However, it is, at this point, a fairly foregone conclusion that they will eventually join the Federation, and soon. I
do not disagree. However, have you considered that their membership in the Federation need not be exclusive to members of their race joining the Klingon Empire? Or, in fact, with their government having an alliance with the Klingon Empire, much as the rest of the Federation does?
I do not see that as an issue. However, it makes me wary because, as you know, I know that the Romulan Republic has an arrangement where they can serve either with the Klingon Defense Force or the Federation, but that is a formal agreement between the governments. We do not have such formal arrangement where the Felothrix are concerned.
I see. Is this an arrangement you wish to formalize?
It would make me feel better about the situation.
Very well.
I just want to avoid any stepping on toes.
Of course, Captain. Do you have specific concerns?
I want the Fellothrics to be able to understand what it means to be part of the Federation before they make a decision to join the Klingon Defense Force. Fully understand the options available to them. Because, as far as I know, we have not made overtures about bringing a Fellothrics into Starfleet Academy or serving on Federation starships as of yet. I know that they are a race that is intensely curious and they want to get out beyond their own planet. I don't want them to make a potentially misguided decision because they have that opportunity now with the KDF, whereas it might not have been presented to them on the Starfleet side just yet.
Is there anything in your agreement, Captain, in the current treaty negotiation with the Fellothrics that would prevent a Starfleet representative from similarly recruiting?
Not as of yet, but however, the way we do things is a little different. If someone who is not a member is a member of a species that is not part of the Federation wished to join Starfleet, they would have to get a formal letter of recommendation from a serving Starfleet officer. And none of the Fellothrics have made those overtures as of yet. Not that I'm aware of, at least. And we do not actively recruit for Starfleet as well, because it's just not the way we do things. You understand.
I do, Captain. But, as you have pointed out, the Klingon Defense Force has our own way of doing things.
Of course. I just want to make sure that the Federation's sovereignty is respected.
In the past, Captain, the Klingon Empire and Federation have been adversarial. I do not want an adversarial relationship here.
That is not my intention.
Nor mine. So tell me, Captain, how would you prefer to see things go about?
Bianca is just going to look at Jonas. And she's going to say to him, shoot, I'm trying to figure out how I want to put this. Because she's basically saying that, like, she wants to, she wants to end active recruitment of the Felithrix until a formal arrangement between the Federation and the Klingon Empire can be arranged to, preferably after the Felithrix have joined the Federation. You know what I mean? To have like an arrangement like the Romulans do.
Gotcha. So, and you're sharing that with Jonas or with me? Sorry.
Oh, so Bianca's just going to kind of like, I'm going. Can I spend a point of momentum to say like retroactively that like Bianca kind of like briefed him on what she's trying to accomplish?
Absolutely.
Here.
I'll actually let you do that without the momentum spend.
Okay.
Basically, while you guys were kind of the two of you were waiting in the lobby, basically, we'll say that's when you gave Jonas the 50,000 foot level rundown.
Right. and then she's just going to kind of look at Jonas like, hey, you do your magic words thing.
You want him to bard.
Yeah, basically.
Like she telepathically telling him, hey, help me out here.
Okay. Jonas will turn to Ambassador Worf. Ambassador, what I believe the captain is trying to say is that for the time being, she would like until a formal agreement can be written and signed by both parties. I believe she is trying to say that while you are still able to teach and show the way of the warrior, that she would like for the active recruitment of the Felithrix into the KDF to be temporarily suspended until the agreement is signed. That way, no one is stepping on anyone else's toes and avoids all diplomatic. It stems the possibility of any kind of diplomatic dispute. And I can make a roll for that if I need to, using my listener ability.
Let's do that. So you will get to add a bonus d20 here, because you are trying to convince someone into taking a specific course of action. Your attunement will apply. This will be a presence command.
Oh no!
And I'm going to make the difficulty here 2, because he's kind of inclined to work with you all anyway.
I'm going to. Can I support him using my advisor talent?
Yes. Like, the Federation and the Klingons are on good terms by this point. Not only that, they fought 3 wars together in the span of a year and a half.
What does your advisor talent do?
I get to assist you using my command skill or command discipline.
Yep.
Okay.
So it'll be presence command for you as well, Bianca.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 2 and 3. So you guys made the difficulty 1 point over.
Yay! I barded the stuff.
Worf says, for the time being, I am inclined to find those terms agreeable. Hopefully the Federation diplomats will not drag their feet on the negotiations, but I don't suspect they will, because after all, the Felithrix will be a staunch ally to Starfleet. They are an honorable people.
And if everything goes hopefully as well as we hope, they will be a staunch ally for the KDF as well.
Indeed. Captain.
Also,
Lieutenant.
I would like to say, Ambassador, it is a pleasure to meet you. I have been a fan of all the work you've done with the Federation.
Morph kind of nods. Was there anything else?
I'm not sure if you're aware, but the lead diplomat on these negotiations with the Federation and the Felothrix is Lwaxana Troy.
Believe me, I am well aware.
I just wanted to make sure you were aware. She just kind of smirks at him.
He just kind of glowers back.
Jonas keeps a straight face.
Was there anything else, Captain?
No, I believe my concerns are well addressed. Thank you, Ambassador, for your flexibility.
Of course, Captain. Fight with honor.
Kapla.
Alright, and friends, we are going to take a quick break. Katie just got home with my order of cheese tots, so I will be right back.
Jealous.
I want cheese tots. I'm sure if I wandered around here, I could probably find some cheese tots.
Gotcha.
I'm trying my male friend to watch Queen of the Damned with me tomorrow.
Oh, that is such a good movie.
It's so bad. It's so good.
Like, the book is so much better, but that movie is it's so bad, it's so good.
See, I have trouble getting through any of Anne Rice's stuff. She just doesn't understand pacing.
The first like 3 or 4 books, like through the book that's like all Lestat, like the Vampire Lestat, I think that's actually the name of the book. Like, so that's like the 4th or 5th book. Like up through that, I enjoyed everything, but then after that, yeah,
oh God,
no.
I got more than halfway through Interview with the Vampire. Oh God, I was just like, I get it. You're the harbingers of death. Will plot happen now? God damn. And I was like, oh, I'll try the Vampire Lestat because it's Lestat. I didn't even get through the beginning of it, and I was like, okay, you're a bunch of rich aristocrats in France. Just fuck each other, please. Something happen.
Now, granted, this was like 20 years ago at least that I was reading any of these, so I can't speak to whether I would still like them.
Yeah, all I know is Lestat and his buddy, they're in a room like for months just talking about, oh, life is pain because we're rich and French. And there's this clearly underlying sexual tension. I'm like, why hasn't something happened? I don't care if it's this love scene between Lestat and his buddy. Like, something needs to happen in this goddamn book.
Well, and Anne Rice is so weird now that I actually have absolutely no desire to go back and try to reread these books.
Oh, no.
Because she's so effing
and
like off her rocker.
She was notorious for being very anti like fan content and everything.
Oh God, I've heard about that. It was the biggest scare to the writing community.
Did I just drop in on an Anne Rice conversation?
Yeah, we're talking about Anne Rice.
Yeah, but like the movies are like at least like Interview with the Vampire is actually a good adaptation from the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, the movie is really good.
But it holds a place in my heart. When I was a wee bab, and like it was just one of those movies. It's like, this is my aesthetic.
The one, okay, I got out of Anne Rice for a really long time. And then the one book that really got me back in was Blood and Gold.
Blood and Gold was so good.
It's my favorite Anne Rice book. It beats everything else for me.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a particularly tall order to me, but I understand.
Cry from Heaven is not the vampire. It's one of his books that's pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I understand intellectually that they are apparently good. It's just very difficult for me to, like I said, I got 3/4 of the way through Interview with the Vampire and was like, oh my God, the only reason I got that far is I had part of it on audiobook and would drive to rehearsal to and from 3 hours every day. So, like, I got that far because literally I would hit play and then drive for 3 hours.
But the
and
other
you still
thing
didn't finish the book? That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's how awful it was. Like, that's how it was just like, oh my God. I would, because I got audiobooks then because, you know, you have to listen to the same 3 hours of pop, you know,
well,
of
frankly,
top 40.
yeah, 3-hour commute.
Yeah.
What else are you going to listen to that's not
Yeah.
going to drive you
Oh,
back?
Dracula, I got through a couple of Star Wars novels. It was
See,
some good stuff, but trying to get through Interview with the Vampire, man, it was just like I got 3/4 of the way through it. They're like, "Oh, let's talk about killing Lestat." I'm like, "Oh, please, something happened. I've been waiting this whole book."
our other thing that's on the schedule is to watch Blade the series, because if you haven't watched it, or 2015, I don't remember when it came out. It came out a while ago.
Oh God, yeah, that was a while. I showed my girlfriend had never seen Blade, so I had to show it to her.
Hey, man.
We're on a break, so good timing.
Yeah, well, I listened for a bit before actually jumping in, so I'm saying hi. Just so I wouldn't interrupt.
So, y'all, I want you to know, Valkyrie Flight this past Wednesday was a blast, and you should totally go check it out on YouTube.
Okay, Dawn, nothing made me laugh harder fucking line about breaking into mainstream from porn.
That was the best thing ever.
Like, we were all taking it so seriously. Like we just were like, oh yeah, this is the, I guess, now.
Like, Safan knows that 20th century humans were all about that sex, and he just rolled with it.
Because it's Safan pretend.
Yep.
Yeah. My character, or quote unquote character, her name is Alyssa D'Angelo. She's a Jersey girl. And like Kelly, she was brought on for female. But instead of being sexy like Kelly, her into the mom role, and she doesn't understand because she's 23.
But she's got alien makeup, so they can make it look like she's any age.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Kelly is a California girl. And is very well aware. And she wears the stupid, huge padded bra and the corset and everything. And it's just like very...
She's
like, I'm supposed to be playing the smart doctor, but they keep, like, putting me in this romance plot.
She representation trademark.
I mean, technically, that's Iris just standing there in the background doing nothing.
Oh, she's the token black trademark. The token minority.
And Dane is just coming off of his stint as a minor villain in Days of Our Lives, where his character died, quote unquote.
Fell down a sewer. That happened in one of the like German soap operas that I used to watch. This woman, she was like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I'm going to model," and like as she's leaving, she like falls down a like a sewer pipe while they're doing construction, and like no one follows up on it ever.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone ready?
No, and then I'm going off of what AdCon gave me an idea for.
Yeah.
Instead of doing, if it's around the same time, instead of doing Firefly, the guy who Sean Mayer, he goes and does Dauntless instead. Not Dauntless, he does Valkyrie instead as Charo, my Betazoid.
Oh.
He would be such a good Section 31 agent, really. I mean, he's just got the look for it.
Okay, y'all good?
Mhm. I think.
Okay. Let's kick back into things. With Rye on the bridge.
Yes.
While Bianca is on the planet's surface with Jonas.
Yeah. So that wreckage that's nearby, I'm going to scan it very intently.
Okay.
Outside of just getting all the info I can, there's going to be two things going on here. The second phase will be my clandestine portion, but an actual tactical use of my scan is essentially I'm going to kind of do enough scans and kind of recreate the blast in the computer. So like, oh, this warp nacelle over here, it blew 31 meters over here. So I can get some idea of like the layout of the ship in case we have to encounter it again. That's going to be our tactical reason for doing it.
That's smart. Yeah, that's a forensic scan. Okay.
Yeah, and incidentally, I'm going to get a lot of other scans there too. So
all kind of wrapped up into the overarching scan, I would say.
Yeah, like I'm going to be ridiculously thorough.
Okay.
Is the overall, should it be looked at earlier? They're like, man, this guy really scanned up the butt. And I'll be like, darn right I did. You know.
I mean, he's an alien, so that's kind of
exactly. You know, we have probes. Speaking of probes, I will fire a couple into this too, just to make sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I assuming that's okay with Starfleet regulations, I assume as I am the chief science officer, I can make the decision to send a scanning probe. Yeah. If not, that's fine. It's more for comedy because we made our we don't have to do it, but I want to now.
Okay, so let's do a reason security roll. Difficulty is going to be 1, reduced from 2. The Dauntless is going to assist with sensor security.
Gotcha. Hold on one second. What did you say, sweetie? Captain. Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute then. There's a reason. Anyway, so okay, gotcha. Reason plus security, forensics, I'm sure would apply. Yep. I'm going to spend a point of momentum.
Okay.
To increase the dice roll by 3. Difficulty's 1.
Yep.
I'm going to check something really fast on my sheet. The ship is assisting me, so I get to reroll a d20, which can be the ship's dice if I have to.
Yeah.
So, okie dokie, let's go ahead and roll. Big money. Damn. God damn.
Okay, yeah, 5 successes.
Let's go ahead and reroll the ship's roll.
Okay.
Reroll the ship. Yeah.
No, at this point, you're just showing off.
Exactly. But you know, I'm doing the data bit from Generation. Life forms, you know, making the Elcar musical.
That is so much floating momentum.
Yeah, so we'll just regen what I got. That gives me 5. I would like to, specifically for my clandestine purposes, I would like to make an advantage, which will probably save for some other time, of forensic reconstruction of the alien ship.
I will say that that this forensic reconstruction, and this can be the advantage, this forensic reconstruction can count as a scan for weakness against the next Zealand transport that you all encounter.
Cool. I will totally do that. Since it looks like, hold on, if I regen what I got there, I have 6 floating momentum. It takes 2 to create. Hold on, I have 5 floating momentum. 2 to create an advantage. I'll make that advantage. I'm going to make the second advantage. The thing I'm kind of clandestinely doing is I'm getting enough scans of biological material of the Zealand, because I really don't know if I'll be able to bullshit cover why I'm beaming bodies on. We're just gonna.
Gotcha. Yeah, given the number of successes and the floating momentum that you do have, I'm happy to let you do that.
You cut out at the end, but I sound like you're saying you were happy to let it fly.
Yep.
So I'll take that as my second advantage of detailed scan, and I'm going to use that to deliver to Section 31. And that gives me 1 extra point. What else can I do with 1 point of floating momentum here?
You can do and obtain information.
Guys, any ideas on what I can use with this here?
In fact, if I may, I have a suggestion. I would proffer that you are able to, using this ship's warp trail, you're able to find its point of origin.
Gotcha. Cool. Here's what I'm going to essentially, so I'll do that. I'm going to include that in a report. Like, I'm getting all this together. It's nice on a pad. We got it. Like, it's all here. And I'll be probably dropping that off to the captain here in a minute or in a little bit. Other than that, I will leave the bridge to go compile the information and to do 2 more clandestine things and then get back to the bridge.
Okay.
So do we want to take care of that now or later?
Yeah, let's take care of that. Well, let's keep the focus on right here for another couple minutes and take care of that.
Cool. Then I will head back to my quarters. I am going to. So the original pad that was given to me by this agent aboard our ship.
Yeah.
I am going to place that in the replicator, and essentially just I'm going to replicate something. Yeah, I'm going to pretty much make the pad that was given to me completely and utterly useless. I would vaporize it if I can.
I mean, sticking it in a replicator and dematerializing it is basically the next best thing.
There you go. Cool. I will do that. Actually, no, I'm going to do that. Its pattern would be stored. So, okay, I will do that, and then I'm going to take out part of its memory unit, and then I'll dispose of that somewhere else.
Okay.
Just because I don't want this physical object being connected if it's being tracked. That now I've burnt the message. Doing the spy, burn the message kind of thing.
Right, gotcha.
Other than that, I'm going to take this information, specifically just the medical information. I'm not giving shady spies anything more than they ask for.
Right.
I'm going to put it down into whatever bullshit version of microfilm I have, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of a coffee cup.
Okay.
I take the coffee cup apart, almost the Jurassic Park, shaving cream deal. So that's where I'm storing it. I'm going to carry that with me. And I'm going to go to 10 forward, or our equivalent thereof, hopefully rendezvous with this contact and leave my cup behind so that he can pick it up.
Gotcha.
And then after that, I'm actually going to go do my job and show back up on the bridge with my report.
Okay, for this last bit, I'd like to have you do a reason science roll. Difficulty is going to be 1.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. Any of my folks' apply?
Let me check. And what I'm having you roll for here is basically like facial recognition of the crewman who delivered the pad, where that person might be in their duty schedule.
So I have sociology. That's I'm not sure that's not specific enough. But
thinking that
I think the reason I have sociology specifically is like how people or groups of people respond when certain things happen, i.e. threatened, So
but
I'm not
that
sure
is more the group level than the personal level. So I'm going to say there's no applicable focus here.
That's fair. That's fair. It's used. Let's see here. I'll take another point of momentum. I'm going to take that point of momentum.
Okay.
So put us down to 5. That's not hurting us. I went through all this trouble to get this done. God damn it, I'm going to give it to the guy. There we go. 3 successes.
Wow,
I'm just
all
on
right.
fire tonight. All right, there you
Definitely get your momentum back.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. So you were able to find this this crew person while they're off duty. Deliver it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, enjoy your coffee or what have you, and
yeah, I'm just gonna reach over him and leave my coffee behind. And it can, he's a spy. If he doesn't know what to do, then I'm gonna get promoted by catching this guy. Like if he's that dumb, he's gonna blow my cover. I'm gonna get rid of him before he gets rid of me.
Right.
So.
Okay.
And then report to the bridge with the report.
And you're settling in just as Bianca and Jonas are getting back onto the bridge.
Sounds good.
And Bianca just, nods at Rye as she goes back to her chair.
Captain.
Commander.
While you were away, I started a small project. I did a forensic scan of the Zealand vessel. And reconstructed its essentially destruction. I was able to figure out, and thus pointing to the pad, kind of a very, very rough layout of our ship. Judging by where the nacelle went over here, compensating for the gravitational forces in this system, I believe there was a small reactor, i.e., we might be able to use this in our next encounter with the Zealand.
Interesting.
So, I will leave this on file with our tactical officer.
Sounds good.
Gotcha.
Good work.
Do we know that Shiana's not here yet? I mean, does my character know that yet?
Well, she hasn't reported for duty by this point, so yeah,
So that's awkward. So then, there you go. Make a perfect segue of, I have not seen the commander in some time.
Neither have I.
Jonas is gonna frown a little bit and tap his comm badge. Lieutenant Carden to what is her rank?
Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah, or just Commander is fine too.
To Commander Darrow.
Commander Darrow is not aboard the Dauntless.
Computer, when was Commander Darrow last on the ship?
Commander Darrow was last on the Dauntless on stardate 89004.32, which works out to about a day and a half ago.
I will
I'm BSing that stardate, by the way. Don't hold me to it, please.
Yeah. So how long was that after that I saw? Was it like the next day, a couple hours later?
Well, you saw her on the Shroud.
But she went and had dinner. Remember, she went and had dinner at my place, which sounds kind of weird to say it that way. Was that?
No, it was on the Shroud. So it was your temporary quarters on the Shroud.
Gotcha.
And she came and had dinner with you, and she was definitely laying the groundwork for, oh, hey, I might leave.
Oh, yeah. I caught up on I didn't want to metagame too much. So my character says that is approximately... Oh, no, wait. Did she return to our ship before she...
Negative.
Went over there?
No.
So she hasn't reported back since she was on the Shroud.
Right. Yeah, by this point, it's been about 24 hours.
And so...
I think I said a day and a half earlier.
Where is the Shroud? Is the Shroud here? Nearby?
Nearby, in comms range, but not in the immediate area.
Gotcha. Captain, I last spoke to the commander while on the Shroud. According to this, she did not return.
Bianca kind of like slowly nods. I had a feeling this might happen.
Captain?
The commander's not a fan of slavers.
I believe the captain has already surmised what I have as well.
She's not a fan of slavers, so she's not on our ship right now because...
So I am going to, if I may, because I'm a shady spy, and the captain doesn't seem upset that her officer is not here, and seems to have been aware. It seems to have some sort of like she is not surprised. I would love to make some sort of check to maybe realize she knew this was, to have a little bit more of suspicion that she kind of okayed this, or however we want to play that out.
Yeah, I'll say Insight Command here, Rye.
Sounds good.
Not a focus here for you. And Bianca, do you want to contest this? Otherwise, the difficulty is going to be 1.
Sure, I'll contest it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be control command for you, and your composure focus will apply here.
Gotcha. So she's got me. All right, we'll go ahead. I'm not going to spend it. I'll just go with it. Let's see here. Boom, what I get here? Nothing.
Oh, good God.
Okay.
Oh, you just got your mental ass whooped.
The captain is inscrutable.
Gotcha. All right, then I will believe something's up, but I have no evidence to say such. Because she is going like, she's not a fan of slavers, which means she's thinking where I'm thinking she went. But I'm just unaware that.
And you just don't know the captain well enough to read her at this point.
Gotcha.
Captain, do you have any idea what's happened to Commander Darrow?
I can hazard a guess or two.
Jonas is just gonna nod slowly, hopefully expectantly for an answer.
Looks like we're gonna have to catch up with the Copper Corsair.
Meanwhile...
Why would we... And then it cuts.
Yeah. Meanwhile, aboard the IKS Vok, Marissa, Shiana, and some of the other crew, including Talia, are in the mess hall. Kind of sharing stories at this point. There's a roar of laughter. There's a Talaxian chef who brings in a very Klingon meal, heart of targ. And he says, "Enjoy? Just cut it out of the targ myself." And some cheering as the meal arrives, along with another round of blood wine.
Talia's actually not a huge fan of Klingon food.
Okay. How's she been faring with the because there's not a whole lot else.
She does what she has to.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a chef on board, so he's probably been helping out too. And it was kind of unusual, and it's kind of unusual for Shiana too, to see a Talaxian serving on board a Klingon vessel.
Oh gosh, remind me who Talaxians are.
Neelix.
Like Neelix from Voyager.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, generally very personable. Generally a very personable sort, which you wouldn't think would quite fit in, but he seems to have found his place among this kind of ragtag crew. Space halflings.
Oh, it's so true. Okay, so Shiana digs in.
Yeah.
Yes, because, Klingon girlfriend, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Marissa digs in as well. Noting Talia's reluctance, she kind of makes a gesture to the chef and who says, "I'll be right back. I have something specially prepared for you."
I don't need special treatment.
I enjoy cooking.
Talia just kind of holds his gaze.
I've already fixed it, so if you don't want it, I'll find someone else who'll eat it.
Fine.
And so while he's doing that,
let the cook do his job, Talia.
I've told him not to do that.
He's a Talaxian. They like to make people happy, and they like to cook. So.
No kidding.
Yeah. But we can't have you undernourished, can we?
I suppose so.
Everyone on the ship, with a couple of recent exceptions perhaps, understands the need for a crew to be a family. Something I realized rather late in life myself, but I'm making up for it now. And as she's saying this, Marissa kind of undoes part of her chest armor, and you see a scar running about 2 inches over the center of her ribcage. One of the Herc gave me this on the Battle of Impersa. It nearly killed me. And while I was under the knife, in the hands of a very capable Starfleet surgeon, I had a vision. I saw Kalis, and he told me it was well to fight for one's personal honor and glory, but it wasn't enough. Honor and glory mean nothing if they can't be shared. And she just kind of puts her armor back together.
Talia just kind of takes a drink from whatever she's drinking from.
Shanna picks up her flagon of whatever freaking ale there is, stands up, and says, "To our captain, and to war wounds, and to family."
And there's just a loud, raucous cheering from the entire mess hall as everyone raises their drinks. Except for Marissa and Talia. So what about...
Okay, so that runs its course and Shanna sits back down. Captain, I hope I did not offend.
Of course not. But what about you? Any near-death experiences in your recent past? Since the Borg?
Too many to count? I'm afraid that I have lost count. I don't know. There have been so many encounters, new species and dangers and battles and no. Life as a security officer.
Well, a life lived safely is a life half lived. Wouldn't you agree, Talia?
What did she say?
She said a life lived without risk is a life half lived. Wouldn't you agree, Talia?
Of course. I've taken many risks in my life, thankfully.
She smiles and says, "Good. We'll be taking another one here in the morning. That's when we should intercept the first transport in our group."
Good.
Shiana, I'll want you with me on the away team.
Of course. Looking forward to it. Let's kill some bugger slavers.
Okay. We are going to...
Can I ask for like an insight roll?
Yes.
I feel like there's something beyond just like difference of opinion with Marissa and Talia.
Okay.
And I don't know what, but I've got this feeling like Marissa actually is like, I don't know, she's trying to recruit Talia, or she's like into her or something.
All right, and let me ask real quick, Sarah, would Talia have stayed on her hormone blockers given the opportunity? Or would she have?
Yes, unless she felt like there would be an advantage on not being on them.
Okay. And then, I'm going to make the base difficulty for this 1, Shanna. Talia, do you want to oppose that?
Sure.
Okay, so it's going to be insight security for Shiana. It'll be control security for Talia.
I'm gonna take a momentum.
Okay. Okay. You get the very distinct impression... Marissa did not contest this, by the way. You get the very distinct impression from Talia that she does not trust Marissa one bit. And Marissa, having picked up on this, now kind of feels the same way. Like, she was neutral on Talia when she first came aboard, but Talia came aboard with this distrust of Marissa from what she'd heard. And because of that, Marissa's kind of closed up.
Okay. All right. I feel like that might be a scene like maybe for next time.
Okay.
In terms of follow-up.
But yeah, there is definitely tension between these two officers, and...
Well, yeah, I mean, I picked up on that from the beginning. I just I was curious. I think if I could get a read on more specifics.
What specifically? Because you got the successes.
I mean, honestly, there's something about Marissa's behavior that makes me think that she's. That she's attracted to Talia, that she's trying to bring her into something.
Mm-hmm. Marissa certainly would not hesitate to recruit Talia if she saw the opportunity. And frankly, Talia is kind of Marissa's type, but she's also not shown any interest. So Marissa does respect that.
Okay, so but mostly there's this distrust that has compounded on either side.
Right. Like from Talia's point of view, she's heard from Varek, who heard in turn from Bianca kind of what went on with Marissa earlier. And the fact that neither captain trusts the colonel. And from Marissa's standpoint, Talia's been playing close to the vest, kind of cold. And so there's been no opportunity to gain trust, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Like,
oh, this is
I don't know why you're being standoffish, but fine. You want to play that game, we'll play that game.
Yeah, Shiana has such a completely different view of Marissa. That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Shiana and Marissa have a different history.
Yes, I mean, but also like just even in the facts of, what Marissa did or didn't do, like from a captain's point of view, it's different. That's okay, cool.
And as the Vok's current first officer, it's something you might have the opportunity to broach, as you said at some other point.
Yeah, I just think it's something to file away for later.
Yeah, because right now we are going to cut to. We're going to cut to Dauntless' quarters. Off shift. So we're gonna pass some time forward a bit, and I'm gonna take a momentum out for the scene change. And Dudley, have you started sharing quarters with Jonas by this point, or do the two of them have separate quarters still? No.
No.
Okay, so you find it a little bit odd when you wake up next to Jonas. Like,
yeah, that is just weird.
Something doesn't feel right.
My man.
Am I in my quarters?
In your quarters, yeah, and you're kind of still blinking the sleep out of your eyes. And you hear a murmuring from Jonas, like he's just starting to stir. And that's when you find, like, before you can consciously understand what's going on, you've jammed your wrist up against his neck, and these simulation tubules go in.
Good. Yup. Good. Yup. Good. Love it. Love it.
And you hear yourself saying, "Resistance is futile, my love." And that's when you wake up.
Nightmares. No.
Jonas, where did you want to do your scene?
Jonas will probably off hours. He will probably be on the holodeck in one of his. He's been trying to recreate a facsimile of the Elarian homeworld.
Okay.
And we haven't, I've been looking. I cannot find any information about what it looks like.
So much of that has just been lost to time.
But
memories fade.
He's been reaching out to the few Elarians he's known, and then poring over any information, and he's got a rough estimate of if I can take artistic license here, I'm gonna say the grass, like he's sitting in like a field where the grass is like this kind of magenta purple color.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like one tree behind him that's got like, it's like white cedar bark, but the leaves on it are a waxy golden color.
Okay.
And there are 3 planets you can see in the sky, and that's as far as he's gotten.
Okay.
And he's been sitting there, like as soon as his shift ended, he went to the holodeck. The
Gotcha.
fact that what's happened with Commander Darrow is really gnawing at him. And he's refrained so far from doing what he wants to do, but he's sitting around and trying to meditate is not helping.
No, in fact, I'm going to say that he ended up dozing off and was awakened to beeping from the arch from someone whose turn on the holodeck had come up.
Computer, end program. He'll stand up and, like, still in his uniform, like, absent-mindedly pretend, like, brush grass off that's, like, no longer there.
Right.
And he'll go and open the holodeck door.
And a couple of Starfleet crew members just kind of, you okay, man?
Sorry, I just nodded off. Okay. Sorry to make you guys wait.
No, we heard about all those holodeck malfunctions you always hear about, and we feared the worst. We were about to call security.
Sorry about that. No, I should probably head to my quarters and sleep.
Yeah, we should probably call someone to run a level 5 diagnostic on this thing before we go in, just in case. Hey, get a good sleep.
Thanks. And he'll, instead of heading to his quarters, he will head to the dining area.
Uh-huh.
Or like, wait, is there like an observatory area?
Yeah, I mean, there's a literal observatory. Some of the best stellar astronomy you can do is still the plain good old-fashioned visual kind.
Okay, so yeah, he would head there.
Okay.
And once he gets there, is anybody else in there?
No, it's just him right now.
Okay,
it's kind of the early hour, or kind of the later hours of the night shift. It's probably about 03:45 local.
Okay. He'll close the doors behind him and he'll go take a seat to look out over space, and then, probably against his better judgment, Jonas is going to listen for Commander Darrow.
Okay. Give me an insight command roll. The difficulty here is going to be... I'm going to set it at 2.
Insight command?
Yes.
Difficulty 2. Would my attunement focus, I guess, comes into play here.
You got it.
And if everyone's okay, I'd like to grab an extra dice using momentum.
Okay. Okay. Made the difficulty. Do you have cautious command?
I do not have cautious command.
Okay. So here's how this is going to play out. You do kind of get a feel for Shiana. And she's as safe as any human could be aboard a Klingon vessel. This is about this time, though, you also wince because you pick up on Dali, who is feeling an aftershock from a traumatic event.
Whoops.
Jonas is gonna tap his. He's gonna like grab his head and tap his comm badge with his other hand. Jonas to Dali, are you there?
So, Dali, how would you have woken up from that nightmare, do you think?
This is probably the first nightmare that I've.
Probably so, and especially.
Yeah, an especially
intense one.
Lucid one.
Yes.
I'm probably like. I probably like panic fled my room.
Okay.
And went to the med bay. So my comm badge is probably still in my room.
Okay.
That's not gonna make me feel any better.
So Jonas, no response from Dali.
He's gonna push himself to his feet. Computer, locate Centurion Dali.
Centurion Dali is in sickbay 2.
Thank you, computer, and he's going to make his way to the nearest turbo lift to go down to sickbay.
As the turbo lift doors close behind you, the computer responds, "You are welcome."
Someone programmed it to say you're welcome. That's great. I have been absent-mindedly having him say thank you since I first started playing him.
Like, I mean, the Amazon Echo does it. Why would the Starship computer not do it?
That's great. As the turbo lift is going towards med bay, because I don't know if it's going up or down from the observation deck.
Mostly up, but there's a lot of movement toward the fore of the ship as well. Like the observation deck is
okay.
I would say the observation deck is like 2 decks above the level.
Okay. Computer, could you send a? Is it possible to do out of character? Is it possible to do like a linked comm thing to medbay, or have the computer send a message to medbay?
You could. Yeah, you could open a message to like intercom in sickbay. It just wouldn't be a private conversation, but
that's fine. Computer, open channels to the medbay.
Channel open.
Dali, are you there?
Yes, what?
I'm on my way. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Computer, close channel.
Didn't.
And then as soon as the turbo lift stops, he'll get off and he'll head straight to medbay.
Okay, which is about 15 meters down the hall. So you make it into sickbay.
What does Dolly look like right now?
Not in her uniform. She's in her pajamas. So I don't know. Like, I think the standard like uniform pajamas are black, like exercise top or something, right?
Yeah, I mean like sweats probably.
Yeah. She probably doesn't have her eyepiece on right now. And she's sitting on a bio bed with a tricorder, and she's like running it over.
Running it over her wrist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if Jonas tries to get close, he'll run into a force field.
Oh, he tries to get close. He's going to bounce off a force field. Ow! Dolly, what are you doing? Sorry?
Preventative measures.
Preventative measures for what?
I just kind of look up at you.
I'm sorry. All I heard out of that was look up at you.
Oh yeah, no. Dolly just sort of looks up at you.
Okay.
And Dolly, this is about the 15th time you've scanned your wrist and your circulatory system, and you're still finding no traces of Borg nanoprobes.
Yep, Sarah fell asleep on God.
The biobed above Dolly is registering all life signs normal. Jonas.
Okay, can I listen to Dolly?
You did it once, sure. Difficulty here is 2. Dolly, are you going to try to contest this? No?
No,
okay.
I'm not even focused on that.
Okay, Insight, command, attunement, focus.
Yep. Basically same as before.
Okay. Just because I think it's a good idea, I'm gonna grab a momentum for an extra dice.
Okay. Four successes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I hear Dolly.
You've never really had a problem hearing them.
Let me figure out how this would sound to you.
Okay.
It has that similar undercurrent of like voices that you would recognize from when you first met. Of that, there's like this kind of like panicked sound, and like you know, like if you're trying to like outrun something, basically. And like electric static.
Okay, is there a way for Jonas to interpret what all of that means?
I would say so, given the number of successes you had there. You're not a psychologist. I mean, there's one about 5 feet. No, he's off shift. Otherwise, he would definitely be there. You're not a psychologist, but you can tell something is bothering Dolly. Something related to the Borg.
And she's scanning herself, and she was probably asleep.
And she hasn't stopped scanning herself.
Okay, Jonas
can... the force field.
There's that. Which, would Jonas know how to deactivate a force field?
Yes, although Centurion Dolly's command protocols have precedence.
That's true. Okay, so Jonas is gonna stand there and watch her for a moment more, You're not gonna find anything.
I just kind of slam the tricorder down beside me. Frustrated.
Question, does the tricorder break?
How hard did you throw it?
I kind of
just tossed it, or with force?
With force.
Yes, the tricorder breaks in half at the hinge.
Jonas just gives it a side glance and then looks back at Dauntless. Do you want to tell me what happened? I have a pretty good guess at what happened, but I'd rather hear it from you.
It's not even a logical...
There are innumerable things in the universe that are not logical. We've experienced a quarter of them in this nebula.
I assimilated you.
Realizing that she's probably talking about a bad dream, Jonas is gonna look down and then look up, like he's inspecting himself. I don't look like I've been assimilated.
It was a hypnagogic hallucination.
You mean you had a nightmare?
I guess.
Dauntless, can you deactivate the force field? Before you make me crawl into the guts of the med bay and turn it off myself.
You wouldn't be able to. It's rerouting every 5 seconds.
I could try, and I'd make a mess of the med bay, but I would try. You're on the other side of it.
Computer, deactivate force field.
Jonas will walk over, and he will pick up the broken tricorder first, and set it off to the side. And then he's going to, once he's close enough, reach out, and if Dali will let him, take their hands.
She will definitely kind of do the lean back a bit. Partly because of just general anxiety, and partly because of the dream, and also partly because she's not wearing her cybernetic enhancements right now. So
but they don't take their hands away.
No.
Okay.
And it's like that hesitation of
Yep. Okay. So Jonas will take their hands and hold them and turn their wrists over and do a small thorough examination, and it's completely normal for humanoids to have nightmares. as illogical as you might think they are, they're a normal part of existing.
So vivid.
They usually are.
The other day I was thinking how convenient it would be if we were connected. Then now makes me feel sick.
Well, I think that makes complete sense. You used your form, this physicality of you, used to be two different beings. Well, two different but the same being, who had two different ideas and philosophies and understandings of the universe. They're both now combined into one being. And you're still learning how to form and color your own opinions and your own understandings from two distinct personalities.
Uh-oh. I'm gonna hang on 1 second.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like,
Hold on.
Sarah's background was distracting me.
Sarah's background.
Yeah, I can hear Sarah talking.
Oh. Good lordy, I thought you left for the night, Sarah.
I thought I had two. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
My computer was just sleeping instead of off.
Oh.
Bye!
I was like hearing something and I was like, am I going crazy?
Yeah, I was like, oh, is this about to get awkward?
Oh, hey, it's the captain.
Anyway,
Sorry, go ahead.
You go first.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna ask if there was anything said because everything was breaking up for.
No, I didn't say anything. She's just gonna kind of look down at her hands and cut them from yours and turn them, and then look up at you again. Everything is so. I don't want, but
I am so sorry. Could you repeat that?
oh yeah. So she looks down at her hands and like kind of pours and says, I don't want to say that everything is so primitive, but it's
Primitive?
inefficient. Clumsy, I suppose.
Have have you been... This wording might be wrong, but have you been field testing your capabilities yet?
That just gets you a head tilt.
I thought that would come out awkward. Have you been on the holodeck yet to push yourself, to test your capabilities with this new form?
What manner of...
I don't know. The Earth used to have this program. One of my Federation classmates was excited to watch every time it came on. Something ninja where they do these obstacle courses.
I'm perfectly fine.
Then what are you thinking is clumsy and inefficient?
Vocabulary?
Oh, language.
Communication.
Ah.
Simpler to understand a person when you are mentally linked with them.
I can understand that, but at the same time, I also think that there's something to be said for being able to speak to one another, to try and articulate what you're trying to say. Sorry, a really loud car went by and I didn't want everyone to have to hear it.
Oh, no worries.
It gives everyone a chance to be creative and think about the meanings of words and either be completely logical or illogical or crass or brass or there are many different ways of getting your words across, and at least thousands of different languages, spoken and unspoken.
I understand it all. Speaking theory, part of me even practice both of me. Not I suppose me, and I there's a frustration, lack of perfection that I don't think I can get across to someone experienced.
Dudley,
What?
you're trying too hard.
Of course I'm trying too hard.
Well, stop. One moment. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect.
I mean, it's not just you. They're breaking up a lot for me, too.
Oh, okay. I thought it was purely on my end.
I am hearing every painful, awkward detail. And 4.1 Dolby surround sound.
The server setting and see if that.
But isn't it so great? It's great. I love this. I love this.
I am live tweeting this to my other Star Trek friends.
No.
I feel like I'm in a fan fiction that I like requested from somebody, and it's so good.
Anyway, Dolly's response was that would be like asking you to stop listening.
Well, if you notice, I don't listen all the time. The key is to not try so hard all the time. You have got to cut yourself some slack.
I think it is.
I'm sorry, you think it's what?
Oh my god, hold on. Sorry, I said I think.
Oh my god, I hate this Discord.
Right.
Oh no, is it worse now?
No, you started to explain what you were saying again, and then it like cut you off for me in the exact same places.
Okay. I said I think it's a character flaw.
Ah, well, you know, we both kind of have the same character flaw. And a very smart and wise woman told me that I need to stop trying so hard. You know, when she visited the bridge in my brain.
That just gets you a very confused look.
Oh, have you heard of Guinan?
No.
She was the bartender on the Enterprise with Picard.
And I'm gonna cut the scene there if that's all right with you two.
Yep.
And the scene will just kind of trail off from there, you know, like the camera panning out. But we do have one more scene this evening.
Okay. Jonas will just explain everything that happened with Guinan on the bridge.
Yep. So, the setting here is deep within an asteroid at a nondescript prison facility. Facility 4028 on the edge of the Briar Patch. And Dr. Winters, you are familiar with this place because you have seen it somehow through the mycelial network that you've been trapped in for the last months. You have watched ever since that failed spore jump that brought you back to your universe. You saw the defenses that your captain put in place around sickbay, ostensibly to keep you safe, but in reality to keep you hostage. You saw the end results of the combat with the mirror universe counterparts that should have been so easily beaten, yet somehow tricked both the Vulcan captain and Bianca. You saw yourself separated from the rest of the crew, particularly from Major Darrow. And but you don't know what became of her. You don't know what became of any of the rest of them. Because as Starfleet's surgeons were working to try and somehow bring you back, even though they didn't know where you'd gone. You remember seeing this mutant albino freak in a uniform 300 years old, telling you don't belong here. That this place, this network was not for you. And so you felt yourself kicked out of the mycelial network and back into your own consciousness. And as your eyes open, you see a man sitting on the bench on the other side of this austere prison cell. And with a slight cocky smirk, he says, "Well, welcome back to the world of the living."
I didn't know that Starfleet had Inquisitors.
Starfleet doesn't talk about us much. And they don't use the same terminology, but the basic function is the same.
I'm just gonna go on my bed.
What's that?
My bed.
What about the bed? Sorry, you broke up again.
Oh, god damn it.
I
Is there
know.
a pillow?
There is, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up the pillow and throw it at him.
It just goes right through his holographic form.
Yeah. Typical.
Well, it's not the only way to be in more than one place at a time, but it's certainly the most efficient.
It's also the most cowardly.
God, I love Anne.
And he doesn't seem to rise to that bait. You are one
So
of
how
the,
can I help you?
You are one of the most renowned geneticists in either of our universes, Dr. Winters.
Amazing what a lack of ethics will get done.
That lack of ethics is exactly what brings me here. You see, Starfleet may not know it, but they have a particular need for your particular set of talents.
Starfleet has a particular need for a particular many things.
Your talents first and foremost. You orchestrated a genocide that we haven't seen the likes of since the end of the Dominion War.
They were in the way.
Yes. Yes, they are. And I'm rather hoping you're up for a repeat performance, Doctor.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
You expect me to what? Grovel at your feet. Oh, please, Mr. Starfleet. Mr. Not Starfleet. Let me have access to biochemical weapons so that I'm horrific bidding for. No, thank you.
Oh, no begging was necessary at all. I thought perhaps you would do it for the pure joy of being able to do what you do best.
No.
But on the off chance that I misread you, I am prepared to offer a trade.
Let me see. Your trade, Major Darrow.
Say that again?
Your trade involves one Major Darrow.
I'm sure you'd love the opportunity to communicate. Possibly even work together at some point in the future.
Shiana is nothing if not resilient and capable.
I think you would find that Shiana's more pliable than you think.
Played you for an idiot.
Well then, Doctor, I suppose if no is your final answer, then we really don't have anything further to discuss, do we?
I never said no.
So you are willing to bargain. What's your price? What was that?
Who's in your way?
The very same Zealand, although on the off chance that there are any sort of genetic discrepancies between your Zealand and ours, I happen to have a sample. And
show me.
He picks up he punches up a hollow recording, and it's the Zealand DNA with minor mutations, nothing that your previous treatment wouldn't have also cured.
Cockroaches.
Do what?
They're cockroaches.
They're a threat.
Pathetic.
In the way that cockroach infestation is a threat. But in some regard, the Terran Empire is more forward-looking than Starfleet.
In all manners. But yes, continue.
There is one other item. This one might actually be more of a challenge since I don't think you've done it yet. What would you say if Section 31 offered you the opportunity to develop a serum that could debilitate someone's telepathic abilities?
That is interesting.
I thought you might appreciate the challenge. And that's where we're going to leave it.